3.
Welcome to the Smartest Amazon Seller Podcast. I am an Amazon seller and I care a lot about making my business better every single day and leaving people that, like, if you're jumping in, let's leave you with something you can do that can make your life easier. You can scale, you can understand e-commerce. And this is an easy one today. We're going to give you something that can save a ton of time, that can turn a unskilled professional into a absolute killer in creating content. I have with me the founder of eComtent. I've got Max, and I have been watching what they've been doing for almost 18 months. And I don't think he may not even remember. I sent someone at eComtent 18 months ago, like a message, be like, oh, I got to see this. So Max, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. It would either be me or my co-founder, but I'm going to check my emails afterwards and see if it was me.
So I'm going to backtrack a little bit as to why I reached out to you. So it was actually a year and a half ago, like early 2023, that what I was working on was an AI listing creator. And this is using like text. So like title, bullet points, descriptions, how can we write them and be SEO enriched? We launched like January of 2023, and then everyone launched. We were one of the like 2 or 3 tools, one of the firsts. And then within about 3 or 4 months, there was about 20 tools that it was an easy lift for AI. Let's just say what it is. But what I cared more about, which is what I couldn't do, which is design. I am not a designer. I wanted to improve images. I saw some cool stuff that people were doing with, like, the different AI engines out there. And eComtent, you could tell from their website that they were targeting Amazon sellers and wanting to give non-designers the ability to create stuff. So I've paid attention, but it looks like they've made a few breakthroughs. Max, that's the background that I've got with eComtent.
Yeah.
Tell me about your background. What led to eComtent, and like, what's the side of the story that I don't know?
Well, I just found the email and I see you are signed up for our first waiting list. So I just found an email I sent you in early 2023, kind of like saying the waiting list is open, and we'd let too many people in at the beginning, and then we kind of opened it back out. But we can get onto why that was. But so I spent 6 years working at Amazon, and I was an account manager for some of the largest Amazon sellers when I joined, including like Anchor and Sun Valley Tech and Duronic. I then went to Singapore to set up Amazon Singapore. When I was out there, I was in charge of the catalog quality and setting up kind of the browse nodes of this new marketplace. And then I came back and I worked in the 3P grocery business. So setting up big supermarkets as 3P merchants. We're talking like Morrison's, Monoprix, Dia, all these kind of people. So that was my background. And basically my now co-founder showed me the first release of Stable Diffusion. And for those who don't know, it was the first open source generative AI model. And this would have been in October 22, before ChatGPT, before Midjourney, before any of this. Stable Diffusion.
October 22, that would be like a month before ChatGPT. That was like, right.
Yeah, sorry, September, October 22. Yeah, it was 1 or 2. We were first testing with customers a month or 2 before ChatGPT.
Yeah.
But anyway, they released Stable Diffusion, and basically it's an open source model, so you can use it commercially. You can fine tune it, and immediately I was like to him, "Oh, can you put, like, rather than like generating a generic image, could you put a specific product image into the generation, type in the text and generate that?" And he built like a scrappy demo of that over the weekend. And I was like, wow, this is going to be totally transformational, and quit my job. And we have been building e-content since that point. And actually, when ChatGPT launched a few months later, it was massive for the company, not only because for the cut like our early customers knew how to prompt, and before they had no idea how to prompt, and it was like we were literally the first like AI tool they'd ever tried, and they literally just wouldn't know how to use this kind of stuff, right? Um, and the business was I can go into why the business was different then, but the key thing about ChatGPT was I saw how natural the conversation was with AI, and I just had this belief, having worked at Amazon for 6 years in search, that Amazon would have to adopt this, or they were going to go, someone else would become the new leader. There was just no way in my mind that they couldn't move to a ChatGPT conversational style interface where rather than getting 50 product listings back and scrolling through, it'll give you three and it will understand your.
You're talking
Uh,
about Amazon's their search bar, like that customers finding products like that.
yes.
They had to be using AI to like improve these results.
I just couldn't, knowing what I knew about Amazon being customer obsessed, and just see like how, I mean, it's kind of, we've all got used to it now, but like, AI passed the Turing test 2 years ago, right? And it was just mind blowing. And suddenly, you know, a million people were using this thing 5 days into it
Right, right, of
launching.
course.
Like it was, and I was just like, this is going to be the future of how people find products online. I just had no doubt about it.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess the difference between kind of this change and like if there's two big kind of technical changes that like have had led to us to build the business, the first one kind of like caught us by surprise a bit. Like Stable Diffusion launched, we were in the right place, we started building for it, and we we're one of millions of people, or like hundreds of people, doing this image stuff. The second one, we saw a year out, a year and a half out, we're like, this is what's going to happen. So we are really like preparing for kind of that, with everything we've been building in the business. Um, so yeah, now we like 2 years on, we help sellers to generate the content at scale. They can do lifestyle images, infographics, A plus content, optimized copy. It's all one click
Yeah.
generation, all integrated.
I think a lot of people have generated images
Mhm.
from these things, and usually it's like, oh, this is good. This isn't quite what I'm like
Yeah.
looking for, you know. Uh, and for example, it's like hard to be like, uh, to like stay in a style that's like on
Yeah.
brand. Um, and but I knew that like, okay, we this can mature. We can iterate here.
Mm.
So the graphics and the images that are usually made on Amazon, or like just like a main image, uh, infographics, A plus content. That's where like anything is possible, and lifestyle. So like there's a variety of types of images, and some of them actually might have different challenges. Obviously, if you have like generated people, that's kind of a
Mhm.
different experience. So how let's say I have a product. I'm just going to talk about one of the products that I have. It's a metronome, and um, we haven't all the images are fairly stale in that we haven't updated it a lot. We haven't like A/B tested different images, and but man, I would love to improve that. What are some steps that I would take to improve, basically my landing page on Amazon?
Mm.
Do you guys have like templates that like you would like run by?
Mhm.
Um, would you just experiment and be like, okay, here's an image of this product. Now let's do some like give me the full gamut of images.
We do have templates, but I guess the key thing that we're thinking about is we believe that, well, as you may know, Cosmo, which is Amazon's like LLM based um, back end search, which is kind of enhancing A9, is now pretty much rolled out, and we believe in generating content which is going to be optimized for this new AI powered search. So SEO is no longer just text; it's visual and text. and
Mm.
therefore I would be asking questions. You can do this on content. You can do this where not only content. Who's the target audience? How do they use your product? Do you have images of that scenario? Like if it's a metronome, I don't know, is it someone who like plays a piano? I imagine that that's kind of a key customer, right? People play musical
Yeah,
instruments,
yeah,
like, and that all those kind of lifestyles need to be throughout the A plus content and the image stack, because the AI is going to understand the customer, each individual customer. So if you're looking for like if you're selling to people who own music instruments, Amazon are going to know who those people are, right? They're going to see their purchase history. They're going to see they're buying like spare violin strings and whatever
yeah.
else, right?
I would say, like what you're saying, like metronome for pianos is
Hmm.
like a good search term.
Hmm.
Then metronome for guitars is like kind of as good, but not quite.
Hmm.
So it's interesting. We could prioritize accordingly and just like double
Hmm.
in on piano. I think piano is the
Yeah.
one to go for. Um, so okay, so you think that
So
uh, the everything in the image actually is context for the A9 algorithm, the search
I
algorithm.
don't. Well, the Amazon science papers say this. It's not like if you're
All right.
if one is to read the science papers that they put out, the algorithm is now multimodal, meaning that it can understand images and text, and there's you can experience this technology yourself. Just take a photo of something and ask ChatGPT what's in the photo.
Mhm,
It's gonna
mhm.
tell you pretty well, right? So my my point is, winner the in this new AI powered search, rather than a customer getting 50 metronomes back, they're going to get three metronomes back through Rufus. And it's going to be understanding the customer, and it's going to give them ones that it feels can suit their customer need the most. And people are going to kind of, I think, more and more just trust AI. We're going to kind of, maybe they're like a bit skeptical now, but like a year,
Yeah,
2 years, like people are going to be having AI agents do lots of stuff for them, and they'll trust it. And the winner in terms of the seller or vendor who's getting there is going to have images of that target audience, using it in a way that the AI can pick up and understand what who that customer is searching for it on the other end,
mhm.
and how they would use it, and that would be in the listing. So
Yeah,
that's what we're doing, and that will be as important as having the keyword in the title, because
yeah, yeah. So what I'm interpreting is we know that if you have experience with these generative AI, that your first sentence is should not be your like your prompt
mm,
shouldn't be like the last thing you do. It's kind of like you should keep adding, adding, adding small little variables so that the
mm,
AI can generate uh, more uh, to what you want.
mm,
Um, what I'm trying to figure out, like for me, the holy grail is that an Amazon e-commerce professional becomes a pretty darn good designer too.
mm,
Um, for like architect, they become a good architect of their listing, and they don't have to send this off to a designer who's overseas, and you got to like wait
yeah,
24 hours, and then you get your update, and then you're like, okay, we got to tweak it. That could turn into a 5 day process and an
mm,
expensive process. Um, can how are you guys helping like shorten that
yeah.
gap?
So it's the content we generate is plugged into the customers. We understand our sellers' brand analytics. We understand
Okay,
who their target audience are, what
you
the
guys
high
do
volume.
connect. You guys do connect to like the seller
Connect
account.
to the API. Yeah, we connect to
Awesome.
so we connect. So all of the content we generate is not random. Like if you are using a freelancer, or maybe they're a great designer, whatever. But it's understanding who that target audience is, their gender, ethnicities, etc., generating that content. So we have, as you mentioned, we have like a number of templates on e-content that people can easily use to like one click place their products into those templates. But in our focus, like, yeah, we have a bunch of templates. Um,
And
We've got
help the audience understand what you think by a template. I think,
like a Canva template.
okay, so like a canvas. So
Yeah,
like,
it's like Canva. Yeah.
so then that means like, okay, we have like a baseline Canva template
You
that
have like
someone,
50 infographic for like, we have like benefits infographics, dimensions infographics, A plus content, all the
and,
different
and you're,
types.
and you can tell the image generator, okay, create something on this template,
Exactly. You can
but
select
do like,
it and it
yes,
will
yes,
use that for your
yeah,
listings. And you
yeah,
can, like Canva, you can edit it. So you can shape, like, you might like a style, but you want to change it to your brand colors. You might want to add a logo. You might want to
yeah,
change
yeah,
the
yeah,
font. So
yeah.
you can use the template and like
Well,
adjust it.
because I think that's key because I think templates are the best way for like the novices to become like
Yeah.
creating good stuff.
I think the key value we really bring though is what is the content that you're putting there, right? Like, what, you only have six pieces of content you can put there. How are you going to get to the top of Cosmo and Rufus? Who like what, like how are you gonna talk to the AI
Hmm.
to generate an image of the target audience and how they use it? AI can also read the text and the images, right? So what like call outs are you putting in there? Obviously, you want your keywords and relevant stuff like, metronome for piano in there. So we will populate the templates specifically to each listing that the customer has, and they can do kind of like the mid journey style, like, generate a prompt, type in your own prompt, and it's going to generate a lifestyle image, like, but your product's already in there, so you don't have to do
Hmm.
the kind of photoshopping shadow. Like, it's going to have all the shadows naturally placed there. So like, write in
Yes.
a prompt, generate. So which was kind of the first business we launched. Well, the first product feature we launched, back in, when we were training Stable Diffusion, and we've been, fine tuning Stable Diffusion and other diffusion models for 2 years. So for e-commerce, right? So we kind of, we're good at that, but it's also removing the prompts as much as possible is what we found. So
Okay.
it's kind of like, we've got so much data now on what AI content converts well on Amazon, and that's really
Yeah.
unique. When we think about our business, as you say, we've been doing this since it was possible,
Yeah.
and we've been connected to the APIs since, since then. So we know what works well with
Hmm.
these algorithms, and we're adjusting it and improving it, and so it's kind of, it's shortening the time the customer needs to like generate the visuals and the written content by like having stuff which is already optimized for AI.
Yeah. Um, so I've got a few like very specific questions.
Mhm.
Let's say enhanced brand content.
Yeah.
Uh, that's kind of like where there's more possibilities
Hmm.
to generate. Um, I think you guys did. Did you guys make a recent announcement about that?
Yeah, we just launched EBC A plus content. Yeah.
And what are you excited about? Like, what's like different about that specific challenge?
What's different about that challenge is it's creating relevant content for Amazon across multiple different modules of, lifestyle images, stock imagery, copy, and bringing all of that together, um, so that it looks nice on a listing, and you generate it in one click, and it's kind of the same as our infographics. So it's using all the data and the APIs, but as you say, there's more space to kind of generate, someone playing. So if we're doing it for your one, I would imagine it would generate something, someone playing the violin and some kind of text about that, and then you have some key benefits on another one, and like a lifestyle image of your product on the mantelpiece. And so it's bringing all of those different elements that we have into, the A plus, which is obviously quite a big, time spend for customers, and expensive, timely and expensive thing to do. But we
Hmm.
also know, like, A plus content from being in Amazon, and they have this officially, that it increases, just having some increases your conversion by 12% on your listing, like
Hmm.
between having and not having anything. And that, like, we saw that in Amazon. E-content is
Yeah.
more like 30% we're seeing, um, and it also increases your discoverability because it helps with the IDQ score, and therefore, like, you add A plus content, your IDQ score goes up, you're more discoverable in A9. So it it was such a it was a first in the industry, which is, we wanted to get there first, but
Yeah.
it was a complex technical thing to do,
Mhm.
to piece all of that together and then have it published in one click to Amazon as
I
well.
mean, you've got my attention there. I've got a brother that I work with on the private label business, and he's no um, designer. I'm excited to test it out and like see if he, we have a catalog of 100 products. Like, if he can get excited and actually get productive, like that would mean the world. Like that'd be something that like I've been searching for years for. Um, then I've got a different type of question.
Yeah, yeah.
Primary images.
Mhm.
Let's say like we've got a decent primary image. Is there any way to like, um, do you feel like you guys can create new versions of a primary image
Yeah.
and perhaps like try and improve, basically improve the primary image?
So this is this is what we're doing now. This is what we're working with now, following A plus. I think, Amazon has got kind of more and more lax, it seems, with what you can put in that first image. So if you're selling um, hair wash, you can put like a splash of water behind it. If you're
Right.
selling
Yeah.
tea, you can put like some mints in there.
Yeah.
I don't know quite. I don't know if you could put a violin in the metronome, but you can call out like accurate to a millisecond with a little tag or something.
Uh-huh.
Like a fake tag that doesn't exist. Um, and this is a really exciting area for us, and it's something that we've been experimenting
Now,
with.
I would
Um,
say this year, if there's been one conversation that I've seen on like social medias, is click through rate, like that
yeah,
primary image, and like people are like hacking it. They're like putting in, say the packaging has like a search term on
mm,
it, like
yeah,
um, or an accent like mint, or like if it's a food item to have a little bit of that food sprinkled in the front to
yeah,
like to give it that 3D
hmm,
feeling to it. And I think some of them, I think when you have like that text, that can start to get in a little bit of gray area. But the others are like very like, especially
yeah.
if it is the product, if you have like the packaging
Or
and
the
then the
ingredients. I mean,
and
like what's funny is I'm going to Accelerate next week, and I'm not sure if you're going. I think you said you weren't actually, but like last year, I remember watching it. And I don't know how you feel as a service provider, but I'm always very nervous watching this stuff because I'm like, crap, are they going to just blow me out the water with something? But anyway,
yeah,
I remember watching their primary image one, and they did this presentation where they're showing, they literally were saying, oh, you can increase your conversion by 8x by messing with the primary image. And this was Amazon at Accelerate. I have the screenshot, and I was like, wow, like because it was a guy who does experiments. They're talking about how they've launched
yeah,
experiments, and they're saying, "Look, we've increased your conversion rate by 8x. We proved it." And guess what? It was messing around the primary image was what they did. I say messing, but like adding elements to it. So it's clear that they, like if they feel comfortable talking about it and Accelerate in front of very very publicly, it's
yeah.
clear it's kind of fine. And I think, as you say, like if you're selling supplements and adding in like the ingredients, if it's
I,
mint, putting a mint leaf
I
there.
think this is my opinion. I think accents, if they're so related to the product, like you're
Hmm.
totally fine.
Yeah.
I wouldn't think twice. You're not going to get like really slapped ever.
No.
Um, but the moment you like, if you start manipulating putting like a background kind
Yeah.
of thing that has like a text, I'm like, okay, like just know that like that one's a little
Yeah,
bit
or a badge
more.
saying like "Made in the US." So there's definitely stuff that is
Yeah.
doable in categories. So we've been, yeah. I mean that's kind of like the next big thing that we're working on. And I mean, again, it's like such a great use case for AI. Can generate millions of these. You can split test them. You can see what's going, and also, of course, like whilst we don't like share any individual data with any, we don't share anyone's individual data. Like on aggregate, we see what works, right? And we
Right.
can, and especially like for customers in specific categories. if you know, like customers who are staying with us for a long time, like we're seeing what's working. So it's an exciting use
How
case.
can I ask? I mean, I've actually loved like all the technical parts you've brought up. What are you judging? Uh, Conversion rate? Are you doing it through search query performance or?
Yeah, we so we've actually got a patent which I can talk you through it. Basically, we connect to the brand analytics and the query search performance, and we're looking at, you
I
know,
thought that wasn't available on the API. Is that
we're well, you'd have to talk to my co-founder who's built all this stuff, but
okay?
we're plugged into the API, and well, as I said, we've developed we filed a patent in this area to
Here's what I'm
promote.
asking. As like a developer, there's like 3 or 4 ways to get
Mm,
like conversion rates on products on Amazon. And like they've never just like made it easy. You know
mm,
what I mean? I think they would only benefit by like making this data available. I think like one of the reports, like you now can download it.
mm,
One of the reports, you can get to the business reports, which does have conversion rate. And then you could do it on the
mm.
advertising. I just
Yeah.
ask because I'm like always like,
What we really want is an API to experiments. I mean,
yeah, no,
that
it's
would be
they're so weird about um kind of like approaching something from like 4 different ways when they're like
mm,
just do it right once. You
yeah.
know, that I love that. I'm gonna play around with it, and I think it's awesome what you guys are doing. I love. I mean, this. If there's one thing about this podcast that I like, really, feel is like authentic, it's finding something new
Mm,
that no one has like really done, and is moving what's possible as like a skilled
mm,
um, Amazon professional in enhancing what they're able to do. Um,
yeah.
so I think you guys are totally on track on that. And so I'm excited to see what you guys do. I just literally, I think I was on your site a week or two ago, but like now I went and you guys raised a round,
Yeah,
of funding.
where we just raised around. So it's nice because we've got. I mean, you're probably a much bigger business than we are, but we've got a decent sized team here. We're eight now, and everyone is technical apart from me. So my job is to come on these podcasts and talk rubbish, and the rest, we've got like top AI engineers.
Well,
From
you're
the
doing one thing right. If you're jumping on this podcast, you'll get some eyeballs.
There
So,
we go.
but
But yeah,
if you ever have any questions, I've
mm,
been talking to Amazon sellers for a few years now, um, and it's been a lot of fun. They're some of the sharpest people out there. A
mm,
lot of just like self start, like they're entrepreneurial.
yeah.
So, but congrats on like getting as far as like where you're at. And with the A+ content, I think that's a big win. Excited to see what you guys are doing with primary images. How long do you think it's taken to develop that?
So there's two big pieces left, which is images and video. And I guess we're constrained. So we have, as I mentioned, we filed patents on like how we're using the data to generate optimized content and fine tuning. But at the end of the day, we're still constrained by open source. So like if the videos open source aren't good enough, we're not going to rebuild a model.
Yeah.
We're not going to like become runway AI or
No, 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 no.
so I, for the primary image, it's definitely doable. It's a category by category piece, but that it's something which is like in the works. On the video, I I I feel like in the next few months we're going to have someone drop something open source, which is just going to be a huge leap forward
Hmm.
from where we from everything we have now.
Yeah.
So I'm excited um, by both of them. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Exciting. That's awesome. Well, if people want to check it out, learn more, what should they do?
they can go to the website, which is ecomtent.ai.
So it's
It's e-commerce
ecom.
content.
It's ecom with an M, ecomtent.
Yeah.
AI.
Not the best name, but I've seen lots of
Not
ex-Amazonian
the
launch.
worst, not the worst name though.
Not the worst name, but the name we're stuck with now. So that's it was.
You tell me e-content, and I could kind of figure out what you do. So it's not the worst.
Yeah.
Um,
You follow me on LinkedIn. You can follow me on Twitter. Yeah, like please
so
tweet
I don't think I said
or
your last
DM
name.
me.
I don't think I said your last name. So it's Max Sinclair.
Yeah,
Um, okay. Well, thanks so much for sharing your knowledge. We want to leave people like wanting more, so they're going to have to get the last
yeah.
bits by themselves. But very generous. I love what you guys are up to. Congrats on the raise, which means I'm expecting to see more out of you guys. Improve, turn me into the best designer out there. That's what I'm looking for.
Sounds
Okay.
good. Thank you,
All right.
Scott.
Thanks, Max. We'll wrap up the pod there. Thanks everyone for listening, and we'll catch you on the next one.
1, 2, 3.